If you meet people at a party and they say, "Hey, Paul, what do you do? Are you an attorney or are you a grappler?" What do you say?
I'm a small business owner. That's what I said.
Okay. Okay.
It depends. If it's a dude,
it's a grappler.
Look, man,
I was just thinking the same thing, mate.
If it's a beautiful English girl, like, all right, man, look, I'm an attorney, all right, I'm a lawyer, all right. No, obviously, I'm just kidding, but no, yeah, just both. You know, like what do I do? Yeah, attorney by day, grappler by night, and sometimes in the weekends.
Yeah. Yeah, fair, man. I was looking at your kind of credentials and some of your merits and stuff, and it looked like, I think back in 2015, so like 10 years ago, I think you won like IBJJF Worlds at brown belt, I think gi and no gi, I think, and obviously trials back then as well. So, like, was there ever a point like where you were maybe like at that point 10 years ago thinking, I'm gonna sack off the day job and just do this full time and be a sort of jiu-jitsu bum like the rest of them? Or was there never any doubt that you're always going to pursue a career as well?
Lots of doubt all the time. You know, I wish I hop on TikTok a lot of times at night when I'm getting ready to go to bed, and there's like all these motivational videos, like, you know, stick to your path, grind it out, and all this shit. And I'm just like, man, that's not how that works at all. You know what I mean? I had doubts the entire time. And of course, as like things get really tough, especially, I don't know how law school might play out in England or in Europe in general. But here in the United States, law school is extremely tough, and they do it on purpose because they want to weed out as many people who are not serious about being an attorney as possible. So of course, as I'm in law school, I'm still training and trying to compete and trying to run through the grueling hours of, you know, law school. I had a lot of doubt, man, and I thought about it a lot. And I would talk to my mom all the time and my brother as well. Like, hey, man, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, because right before I started law school, I won, like you were saying, worlds both in the gi and no gi. And then I think it was black belt worlds in gi and no gi. And the gi, I made it to the quarterfinals, and I beat like a multiple time world champion in the round of 16 in the gi. And then in no gi worlds, I got a third place. And that was like my first time ever doing worlds, you know what I mean? As a black belt, so I was like I could pursue this full time instead of, you know, because like, just imagine, like, so I would go to school from like 8 a.m. to about 5 in the afternoon. Then I would go train, come home, shower. And generally speaking, you have about 6 or 7 hours of reading, especially that first year. So from 10 p.m. until about like 3 or 4 in the morning, I'm over here reading so I don't fall behind. And then I got to, you know, wake up at 7 to do it all over again. You know, so all of this is just kind of like in the back of my head, like, what? I'm sleeping like 3 hours, man. Why am I doing this? You know what I mean? I could just be training full time, winning some competitions, getting some sponsors, doing whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the thing is, like, I really enjoy both, like, I guess, athletic and intellectual pursuits. And I feel like every time I will think maybe I should just drop out of law school and concentrate fully on jiu-jitsu, I would always think, like, every time I'm in between practices, right? Back in the day when I was able to practice more than once a day, I would just be bored in the meantime. You know what I mean? So I would do one training, be bored as hell, and then go to the next training. And that in between time, I think, is what stopped me from possibly dropping out and doing jiu-jitsu full time. And I think right now, maybe this is like my own niche path, which is doing both at the same time. And then maybe I can, alongside other people who are also doing it, maybe, like, you know, help everyone else who's kind of considering not giving up one or the other.
Now, what does your kind of like training split look like? How many hours on the mats? Like, how often are you working? Are you getting any downtime? Like, have you got a life? Like, what's it look like typically?
Yeah, well, I do have a life, but I think it's just more like everything I do is more intentional than your average Joe. right? Like, for example, if most people get home on a Friday and they're just kind of like chilling, hanging out, and their friend calls them and they're like, hey, what do you want to do? They're like, well, why don't we go out to X bar, right? And they're like, all right, fuck it, man, whatever, let's go, right? Like, I don't really have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really have those moments of like spontaneity where you can just be like, hey, why don't we do this? Like, no. You know what I mean? Like, so I wake up generally about 7-ish and then work until about, I don't know, 6-ish, head to training, come home, 9-ish, eat, shower, walk my dog, come home. It's like 10:30, 11, depending on how much energy I have. Either maybe I'll check a couple more emails or just hit the sack and then repeat until Friday. Friday, we train in the evenings, come home and just kind of relax. Saturday trainings in the morning, Sunday training in the morning. And then, of course, just depending how much work I have, I might use Saturday to just fully rest, or I'll work Saturday and Sunday kind of to use that time to catch up. It's kind of funny, but like even in law, I'm also thinking of like, I got to catch up to my opponents. You know what I mean? So for example, like, when people are like, why don't you take a day off from training? I'm already not training multiple times a day. So if I take one off, it's going to be really hard for me to catch up to my opponents, which means that not only do I have to train every single day, but my trainings have to be very intentional in the sense of like, I can't just come in and be like, all right, man, what are we working on today? You know what I mean? I should already have things prepared. And I kind of touched on this a long time ago, but I just have the room broken up into people who I'm going to work certain moves with. So every single training session that I have, I'm working on multiple things at the same time in order to just catch up to my opponents who can just kind of not even think about it. And then by their third or fourth training, they've touched on all the things that we're hoping to touch on, right? And then same thing in my everyday job. Of course, Monday to Friday, I have a lot of hours in between, but I'm handling a lot of cases. And so I have to use my Saturday and Sundays appropriately so I can catch up to my law opponents. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then like, for example, here in a little bit, I'm getting ready to travel with some of my friends. I'll be in y'all's backyard. And then when I'm on these vacations, it's not like I'm not working, but I'm also using that time. It's like now I'm going to, I don't know, visit, do my touristy things, just hang out, kind of decompress a little bit. And then when I come back, I just hit it hard again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore, man. And so you're training, you're grappling like 6 times a week by the sound of it, Monday to Friday and Saturday, right?
No, seven times a week. I train every single day.
7, okay. And do you like do any supplementary exercise like gym work or anything like that at all, like lifting?
Oh, hell no, man. Don't get me wrong. All right, I've tried, and there was a period of time where for like 3 or 4 months, I was waking up at 4 a.m. so I could go lift weights with this guy who's like a professional. But it's so boring, man. I just cannot stand it. And here's the thing: unless my opponent, like if just genetically, I think I was just very lucky because my opponent has to be on so much steroids for me to feel like there's this massive strength disparity between us both. That if they're not, I don't really feel like I have to do strength and conditioning. Maybe conditioning because my cardio is ass, but other than my conditioning, like other than my cardio, like yeah, like I just don't feel like my opponent is going to be that much stronger where me waking up at 4 a.m. is going to be worth it for me with how boring it is.